Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an indie agency. We're heading to my neck of the woods. sort of. Suburban Philadelphia. Yay, Brian Anderson.
What's up, sir? How are you?
Oh man, well, I've got the Phillies hat on.
I was
So
going to say you've dressed appropriately for this. Well
well,
done. Well done.
here's the thing. Unless it is all black or not green, I can't wear an Eagles hat because I have a green screen behind me.
Uh,
So when I have anything green on, it completely washes out, as we say in that part of the world.
so do me a favor. Send me the address, and the hat will be in the mail.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Send me the address.
No, it's great. Don't have a problem with the Sixers, but I'm Portland, so Blazers 1, Sixers 1A. How's that sound?
Okay.
uh,
I kind of go all Philly, but that's cool. That's cool. Whatever.
I've been out here 31 years. So
So,
I have to show a little bit of love. Plus, the stations I worked at, they were owned by Paul Allen, who owned the Trailblazers. So it's just there's a little bit of a backstory there. So let's go to your backstory.
okay.
So the agency name is Perception. You are based outside of Philadelphia. Talk about when it was founded and how this whole thing started kicking off.
Yeah, sure. So founded in 2013. I started back in advertising in 2009. Played in that world for a bit. Didn't really like the agency life in general. Went into the clothing world for a bit. Played there. Had a blast. Left that, and I started the agency in 2013. We're based in Philadelphia, but I say based loosely because we have a distributed work team. And now we have people, on all coasts, if you will, and down south, and you name it. We have this co-creator network that we thought was a really unique model that we see a lot of agencies now pulling in and talking to people about as they move forward as agencies as well. So
who are some of the main clients that you have right now?
So we've done work with the WNBA. We're working with your favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, Princeton University, Nickelodeon. So we've worked with a bunch of different kinds of client. We've even done real estate stuff, a bunch of different kinds of clients.
Right. Real estate down the shore. I'm kidding.
I wish.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. All agencies have a nice long list of things that they are very, very good at.
Sure.
What would you say? So a couple things. Number one, what would you say your agency is best known for? And then secondly, what would you say your top 3 core strengths are?
Sure. I would say, we're probably best known for this idea. And we've kind of, over the last 6 months to 8 months, gone through this process of looking at all the work we've done. And we found this through line of humanity, if you will, through everything that we do. And we're really good at this idea of transactional relationships. So if we can transcend these transactional relationships that clients have, we find over a period of time, it allows for us to make brands more relatable. So that's like, we're best known for that when we start looking at the projects and like what really popped in these things that we've done. And then when we're doing that, it's around this idea of relatability. And when these brands become more relatable, they're resonant in the heart and then the mind and in culture in general. So that's kind of how we think about it when we're doing work, when we're partnering with brands and clients. And if I had to rattle off like at our core things that I believe we're strongest at, I'm a creative. I'll always be a creative at heart. So, creative ideation, being driven by strategy. We're really good at that. developing creative ideas, and really having that mindset of, if you were a child, kind of like, what if, when you were a
Right.
kid, you didn't really think about all these borders in front of you. You just said, hey, what if we did this, or what if we did that? So I try to create and have that kind of mindset when we're developing some of these ideas, and executing at a high level.
I think when both you and I were growing up as kids in South Jersey, we probably did a lot of stupid things that were, "What about this? What about"
I jumped out of trees that I shouldn't have jumped out of.
I'm trying to think of the dumbest thing I did when I was so I went to high school in Haddonfield, and you went to high school in Cinnaminson? Or you're in Cinnaminson now?
Well, I grew up in Mount Laurel.
Mount
So
Laurel, that's right, okay.
yeah, I went to high school in Medford. I went to Lenape. So
Yeah, or as we pronounce it, Meffert.
yeah, Medford.
Meffert. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
That's how yous pronounce it. Um, yeah, but what here's the thing too, is like one of the things I want to touch on, and then I'm going to ask you about why it's important for you to be an independent. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. So the area that you're from, the area that my family is from, the Philadelphia area. So, looking at it as the Delaware Valley, so it comprises Pennsylvania, South Jersey. Um, there's a different cut of the jib in the way that we approach things, right? So I don't want to say chip on the shoulder, because that's too easy. And that's a sports metaphor that we hear a lot for sports fans from Philadelphia. But in my experience, hardworking, focused, um, strong points of view.
Sure.
There's a real way of working. Not to say that it's fake everywhere else, but you're going to get hard work. You're going to get hard work from the Philly vibe, right?
It's interesting. So as you were just saying that, I was thinking about what I wrote down on my board that I've had forever when we started growing the agency. And it's no mud, no lotus. It's this idea that, as an agency, as a brand, as an idea, we are the same as those ideas that we try to generate and put out into the world. We are coming through the mud to become that flower. And for me, when I'm talking to people, it's like, I'm okay with it being tough. I expect it to be tough. And it's the only way I like it, to be honest.
Right.
Because we to the point that you just made, like we eat what we kill. I feel like it feels like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the South Jersey thing, for those of you who have not experienced it, it's different. It's very different from North Jersey, very different, from outside of New York. And it's just, there's a real good energy around that. So we, encourage you to sample that. You had alluded to, and sample, cheesesteaks, because they're better than in Philly. I'm just saying, South Jersey cheesesteaks are better. But you had alluded to that you were in the agency business. I was like, but now you're back in it. Why is being an indie so important to your team? And then by extension, why is being independent so important for your clients?
Yeah, I would say, we love the idea of being an indie agency because it gives us the ability to look at it pretty simply. Like, as culture goes, we go, right? Like, there's no boards, there's no groupthink. What's best for the team is best for the client. The creative ideas will come first. So, and the client is also tied to that. So when I say that, I have friends that are big agencies, and sometimes the bottom line comes first, not the idea, or not the creative work that's put out there. And I always think that, our goal is to always have the back of our clients and make sure that we're delivering the best that we can. And I feel like you can only get that to happen if you have that business freedom as well, to be able to think creatively and explore. So that's something that I really think, and, learning over the years is from other indies that I know, and we talk and stuff like that. The barometer that I kind of use is this idea of like speedboats and wave runners versus, cruise ships, if you will. Like when you really think about culture today in the world, it's really like, you know, the groups that we're trying to go after are on little islands all over the place.
Yeah.
And you need to be on that wave runner to go out and scout for it. And then you need to jump on the speedboat with the client and go take it to the next level. But, you know, it's hard to move those cruise ships, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with them, but they're
Right.
hard to turn in currents that are changing, you know?
That's true. A good nautical analysis. I like that. I like that. Give me one reason or a main reason that a brand should work with you and your agency.
Oof, one? Only one?
Yeah, you can give a couple.
No. I think it's probably around this idea of like culture, because we're always thinking about it internally, and I just feel like we're in very interesting times right now culturally, and you know, you have a bunch of people that are all in, and then you have the same people that are completely disconnected at the same time, and it's really finding that human connection to make a brand really relatable so that they're able to retain that information and also pass it on and become brand evangelists for other people in their circles. So I would say that's really the reason. That's what we really like zone in on and like focus on. And we're fun, I think.
I would say so. I would say absolutely so. Let's flip this to the talent side, whether and especially because you'd mentioned that the agency is, you know, you have a core team and then you have a lot of people around, around in a lot of different places.
Sure.
Why should talent put your agency on their list?
One of the things that we built when I did this is I started it out with myself and a freelancer. Over time, we started figuring out that the idea of freelancing doesn't make sense, right? Like, freelance is not something that we talk to clients about. We created this thing called a co-creator network. And the reason why we call them co-creators is because we like to bring them in closer into the fold. We want them to be a part of the project when it's getting developed. We want them to be a part of it when it's finished and the high fives are handed out. Like, we want to make sure that we're bringing in assassins, if you will, to be able to do the parts that they have to on the projects and then maybe fade back. So you're not getting stuck with just whoever we have. You're really getting key members of the team that are super important for the projects. And really we try to treat people with like-minded, like they're humans, right? Like, they may be a freelancer, but we see them as individual people, and we like to make sure that their lives are taken care of, their families, exactly what they're trying to do. In 2013, we really saw that high quality talent wanted to be entrepreneurial and do their own thing and have the freedom. And it would be crazy not to tap into that. So we really embrace that. So
yeah, I love that. Last question is a bit of a thought experiment. Whether it's an existing client or a client or brand that you might want to work with, which CMO and or marketer do you want to say hello to?
Wow. I'm a very friendly person. So
that I know.
So if I'm waving at people, I would say, we've actually had some internal conversations about a few, and I'll name two really quickly. Andrea Brimmer at Ally Bank is doing some really interesting things. They've transformed banking, and we see like where banking and digital kind of come together, which is really an interesting space to play and kind of like help. So that's one that we love. Kaylin Thornton at Gatorade, ex Nike guy who did some amazing stuff at Nike, and we know that through a client that we've worked with, and now he's over at Gatorade doing some pretty cool things. They're about to go into, my mind, just looking at it from a cultural standpoint, beverage wars, if you will, and so figuring out ways to bring humanity to sports in a unique way feels like a fun place to play with someone like Gatorade as well.
Right. I mean, they are the OG.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because you have so many competitors coming in, like, big drinks that are
Prime and Body Armor.
caffeine
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of room for them to make some noise and really like put their flag in the ground again, in a serious way. So that's out there.
Yeah. Interesting. I like that. Those are two divergent yet convergent in a lot of ways
Yeah,
philosophically.
totally.
Yeah, the through line on that are marketers that do brave stuff.
Yeah, totally, totally. I just think it's like, we're really interested in working with like brave people and being kind of like that partner for them, and having their back, because the choices that they make with marketing dollars, hiring agencies, I think some people take for granted, and we don't. Like, we see it as, if you hire us, we have your back,
Yeah.
and we're going to do our best to make you look great. So that's kind of how we play it.
I got it. All right, let's fast forward to February of next year. Who are the Eagles playing in the Super Bowl? I'm sorry, who are the Eagles beating in the Super Bowl
Um,
in early next year?
well, man, can I not talk about this?
Oh, are we? That's right. You and I are superstitious about this, aren't we?
I just,
Yeah. All right. That was a dumb idea. Okay. Now if the Eagles tank, you can point to me. I'm the one who blew it. I've done this before, by the way.
yeah, I'm gonna pass on answering that question and say I would like to see them go as far as they possibly can and keep rolling the way that they are. I think they're fixing some things, along the way, and they're my guys. They're my guys.
No, I know.
And I will say the front office is top notch, lights out. They've always been amazing for us to work with. So it's a pretty solid organization all the way through.
I'm very pro Howie. Very pro Howie.
I mean, they are legit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the story was that Jeff Lurie wanted to buy the Patriots because he's from New England.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As I understand it. Or he was a New Englander, and then Robert Kraft said, "Why don't you go buy this team down in Philadelphia?" And that's how I understand it. Well, it's a fact check that. Don't take it as gospel if people want to go down a rabbit hole on that. But yeah, I mean they've created a culture that that's second to none. I mean, Chip Kelly blip aside. But me being in Oregon, save that for another day.
That's a whole nother. We have to talk about that.
We will talk about that, and not in this forum. But Brian, always good to connect with you. Part of the home team. Yeah, part of the home team.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for having me, and congrats on all the success here. This is going to be amazing. Super excited.
Thank you. Thanks for being here, man.
All right, buddy.